97.7 is Wcxo, Carlisle.
This broadcast is a presentation of Wcxo Sports. WCXO Sports, powered by the Union Banner at Union Banner on Facebook. Your sports teams, your community, your radio station. Presents Talkin' Sports on Max 96.7. Talkin' Sports is powered by Traditions Portrait Design in Carlisle. For photography, business, and professional service, it's Traditions. Talkin' Sports is brought to you by Farmers State Bank of Hoffman, Central City, and Hoyleton. Munkin Dodge Chrysler Jeep Nissan in Centralia. Kaskaskia College. The future's yours at Kaskaskia College. Emin Insurance Agency in Carlisle. Nordike Funeral Home with 5 locations to serve your needs. First Bank in Breeze. Lee's Sports in Nashville. McKendree University in Lebanon. Country Financial Representative Marvin Gerdes in New Baden. Seaver Brothers in Carlisle. And by Becker Jewelers with locations in Breeze and Highland and always online at beckerjewelers.com. Here's the host of Talkin' Sports, Rip Nottmeyer.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Talkin' Sports. Rip here in the Weidman Ford studio for a Saturday. Coming up this morning, we're going to talk some high school football with Central Cougars coach Brian Shart after their victory last night. In the second half, we go to St. Louis for a famed baseball writer in Rob Raines. Plus, as always on a Saturday, we have the Easy on Travel Trivia Quiz at 594-2576, 594-2576. Today, oh, baby, we have 2 extremely good St. Louis Cardinals tickets available for and up. Aren't they all upcoming? But these are good. And they're worth a lot, so tune in, sit back and relax, listen and tune in for that later on. Some box seats to a Cards game. But right now, it's Scores and Stuff brought to you by Hoffman Auto Body, located just 7 miles north of Carlisle. When your car or truck gets dinged, dented, bruised, scraped, demolished, whatever, see Hoffman Auto Body. And let's go to some high school football. Freeburg marched past Carlisle 43-12 last night. In the Metro East, a Caleb Dar to Chase Taylor 50-yard touchdown strike highlighted the Indians' night. Central chalked up Salem 34-13 in a game heard on Max 96.7. More on tap about that with Coach Shart. It was Redbud over Westland 47-28. Gavin Bilbrook rushed for 2 touchdowns in the loss for the Warriors. And Mater Dei hammered Alton Marquette 50-14. Logan Rotterman galloped for 3 scores, 1 from 70 out. The Orphans host Yorkville later today. Mount Vernon was smothered. Did I mention they always lose? Dunlap chased the Rams 34-0. Nashville trounced Massac County 33-love. Vandalius built Hillsboro 41-6. Greenville defeated Staunton 40-14. It was Highland over Belleville East. The Dogs rolling again. 35-7 is the final there. In Big League Baseball, the Cardinals won yet again to finish August at 22-6. Last night, a lot from Paul DeYoung. He had a 3-run homer and added a 2-run single for a career-high 5 RBIs. Austin Gomber got the victory on the mound. The Redbirds pounded the Red Legs 12-5. That's 18 of 22, isn't it? Wow. Matt Carpenter hit his NL best 35th home run. And Gomber, 7 innings, 10 hits, and 2 runs. Got out of that first inning with slowed down the damage, and he was really good after that. Homer Bailey, he hasn't been really good for, I don't know when. What's he got, 2 no-hitters, and the rest are losses in his career? He's 1-13 this season with an above 6 ERA. He's awful. The Reds are 1-18 in Bailey's 19 starts this season. What's he making? $14-15 million a year? Give it back. Oh, my goodness. Hey, how about John Gant Thursday? This guy is overlooked and underappreciated. Gant's all right. The Cardinals and Reds dip into game 2 of their weekend series tonight. with Daniel Ponce de Leon sized up against Luis Castillo. Clown Carlos, let's see, that fight's on tape, I understand. I haven't, that only adds to the idiocy legacy of Clown Carlos, doesn't it? The Cardinals have a new manager. Yep, Mike Schilt. We'll talk more about that with Rob Brains later on. On the diamond last night, besides the Cardinals affair with Cincinnati, Philadelphia snubbed the Cubs 2-1 in 10 on a one-out home run from Asdrubal Cabrera. It was Milwaukee over the Nats 4-1. Shashin threw well into the seventh. Kristen Yelich, that was quite a night for him on, what was that, Thursday? Now it was Wednesday, wasn't it? Yeah, he went 6 for 6 with 3 singles, a double, a triple, and 2 home run. Yep, the cycle's in there too, not bad. Atlanta lost, the Dodgers won. Colorado was a victor. Actually, check that, San Diego defeated Colorado. In the American League, the White Sox tooled Boston 6-1, but the Bo Sox are still locked in to 93 wins. The Yanks win. 3 home runs by the Bronx Bombers in the 6th. Cleveland defeated Tampa Bay 3-0. Corey Kluber won his 17th game of the year. Houston lost. Oakland won. Oakland edged Seattle 7-5. Piscotty homered. The Athletics have won 20 of 29. In interleague action, it was Toronto over the Marlins of Miami 6-5. A pinch hit grand slam by Justin Smoke. So right now the Cardinals are 3.5 back in the Central, a half game in front of the Brew Crew. And those two teams lead the wild card races. They are first and second. A little breathing room between the Brew Crew and the Dodgers, and then the Phillies and the Rockies. They're still all there. We got a month left. Aviston's Trevor Richards logged another no decision Wednesday night. That was against Boston, correct? Yeah, that was against the Red Sox. 5 2/3, 3 hits, 3 runs, a couple of round trippers. So on the season now, Trevor's 3-7 with a 4.26 in 20 starts. 20 starts now. Jake Odorizzi, he's shaky. He's been shaky. 5-9 now. Another loss for him the other night. Of course, the Twins, they've dipped themselves. So we had some action at the waiver trade deadline. The Brewers obtained Gio Gonzalez and Curtis Granderson. David Freese and Ryan Matson, they each go to the Los Angeles Dodgers. Atlanta notched first baseman Lucas Duda. That was actually the day before. Andrew McCutchen, lands in the Bronx because, Judge is still out and maybe out for I think they're a little worried about him. And the Tribe picked up Josh Donaldson. A lot of Cardinals fans were hankering for him. He hasn't played since May 28th. Shoulder, calf, whatever. 234, 5-16 in just 36 games. I believe he got hurt packing last night. So by the time he gets to Cleveland, he'll probably be on the DL again. Oh, speaking of that, well, this is beyond DL. The Angels' Albert Pujols, remember? Remember Pujols. He'll miss the rest of the season. He had arthroscopic knee surgery Wednesday. He had all of 245 with 19 homers and 64 RBIs. He's going to be 39, 42, 43, whatever it is. He has 3 years remaining on his 10-year, $240 million contract. P.T. Barnum was right again. The Illini are home for Kent State. Yes, we're talking college football. It gets in a big-time gear today. Another 11 o'clock kickoff for Illinois against Kent State. Wow, that's going to pack into viewership. Mizzou, come on, Illinois. Lovey. Mizzou welcomes UT Martin. The SIU Salukis whipped up on Murray State Thursday night by a 49-10 count. Javon Williams of Centralia grabbed a little time. I suspect Cole Stewart did from Salem too, but didn't see any numbers. Maybe he just didn't figure in the stats. Last night, back to the scene, the major college scene. Number 4, Wisconsin laughed past Western Kentucky. Number 1, Bama is on the dial today against Louisville. Khalil Mack he's apparently headed for the Windy City and the Bears. So what? Don't have a quarterback, don't have a team. Khalil Mack. John Gruden didn't they didn't mesh too well, did they? Aaron Rodgers and the Pack, they've agreed to a record-breaking 4-year extension worth $134 million in base salary. It could go up to $180 million because he could achieve $4 million in incentives. He needs incentives. The Rams' Aaron Donald finally signed. He received a record deal for a defensive player at $135 or so. And Odell Beckham Jr., OBJ, he's now the NFL's highest paid wide receiver. They're throwing that cash around. Manu Ginobili is no longer. He has retired from the NBA after 16 years. Quits at 41. What a player he was. He played 1,057 NBA regular season games, 218 in the playoffs. He was a EuroLeague MVP, a gold medalist for Argentina, twice named NBA All-Star, 4-time NBA champ. He's good people, man. He's all right. Oh, man, how will the Blues remember the Martin Brodeur era? How will they ever recover from the loss of Martin? He's going to the back home to where he should be, the Jersey Devils. And he's there as an executive vice president of business development, which means he ain't going to do nothing, but they want him there for some PR. That's fine. And the new assistant general manager, who chances are will lift a helping hand or two to Doug Armstrong, is Bill Armstrong. No relation there. The Blues they're about set to open camp. Their first exhibition game is in mid-September. This is September 1. What happened? Let's go to golf. Justin Rose leads the Dell Technologies Championship. Georgia Hall, I've seen her name a couple of times recently. She tops the Cambia Portland Classic and the old guys event, the Shaw Charity Classic. Two are tied the very, very top. NASCAR roars into Darlington tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Did anybody go to Gateway last week? Will Power was the victor at the Bommarito 500 in lovely Madison, Illinois. Big time racing for that area, so all of that is good. That is Scores and Stuff. It's brought to you by, Hoffman Auto Body. They're a mere 7 miles north of Carlisle. When your car or truck needs major repairs, minor repairs, whatever the case may be, see the gang, small gang, but a good one, quality, at Hoffman Auto Body. Coming up, Brian Short, Rob Brains, Trivia 2, Stick and Stay. This is Talking Sports for a Saturday. If you're looking for Nissan quality, be sure to check out what Munkin Dodge Chrysler Jeep Nissan and Centralia has to offer. Munkin's has the entire field covered with a great lineup of Nissans, including Maximas, Altimas, and Sentras, SUVs and crossovers, and Titan and Frontier trucks. And you can relax when you shop Munkin's because you know you're getting the better deal every time, along with terrific service after the sale. For your Nissan, log on to Munkin1.com, or better yet, visit Munkin Dodge Chrysler Jeep Nissan in person, Route 161 West in Centralia. Farmers State Bank is dedicated to the communities they serve. They've been making home loans for over 100 years. They are and will continue to be a strong, steady, common-sense leader that's always focused on what's best for you and the community. And remember, Farmers State Bank has loan professionals standing by to assist you in making the right decision for your needs. That's Farmers State Bank of Hoffman, Central City, and Hoyleton. An equal housing lender, member FDIC, NMLS number 404955.
As a business owner, you know that every year brings new challenges and opportunities. The success of your business demands expertise and focus, and Country Financial can help you keep that focus by helping ensure you have the right insurance protection in place to meet your goals. Marvin Gertis, your Country Financial representative in New Baden, can help you create a customized insurance plan that has coverages designed just for your business. Call Marvin Gertis today. 588-7112. Coverages may vary by state. Policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Bloomington. Start saving on your heating bills today with a 7 Series or 5 Series water furnace from Tunya Service Company. The 7 Series water furnace is the world's most efficient geothermal system. In addition to big savings on your heating costs, the 7 Series and the 5 Series water furnace carries a 10-year parts and labor warranty. For a free estimate and the world's most experienced geothermal team, call Tunya Service Company in Damiansville today, 248-5130.
We tell you our music library contains an embarrassment of riches. Except nothing embarrasses us. Playing everything.
This is Max 96.7.
Don't mind me, I'm just cleaning up my desk here. All right, here we go. We're in the Weekman Ford studio on this Saturday morning. Let's touch base with the H&H Computer Services guest line for the first time this morning for Central Cougars football coach Brian Sharp. Brian, welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having me, Rip. How you doing today?
Hey, doing well, and I have a feeling you are too because, man, you made that long weather delay count. That was an hour or so, but you stuck around, you hung around, and you beat the Salem Wildcats at Jim Finks Field 34-13. Way to go.
Yeah, thank you. It was a great night. I tell you what, the lightning delay was a huge boost for us. You never really know when you're dealing with high school boys how they're going to respond after a long layoff, but we took it as a good opportunity to recharge the batteries and come out and restart. And we were hitting on all cylinders when we got out there.
Boy, that's a long time away from the gridiron, isn't it?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. But I was proud of our guys. They stayed focused, in the locker room and stuff. We talked about what we needed to do, and really it came at a time where I'm not sure we had the momentum when it came. It was the ball was on the 33 going in, so they were driving. It was 3rd and 7. And they'd moved the ball down the field pretty successful on us up to that point. And, we came out and had a big stop on defense and drove right down and scored, and then kicked off and recovered a fumble on the kickoff and went down and scored again. So, the game really flipped when we came out after the lightning delay.
That defense, what was it, 14-6 game at the half, and the defense didn't allow a score, right? The Cats converted on a turnover?
Yes. Yeah. So, the defense played pretty solid all night. I was pretty happy with their performance.
What about Max Campworth? He's getting his first major time at the QB spot. How did he do under center last night?
Yeah, Max did a good job. He had a really good game for us, and he had a little bit of adversity through an interception, and sometimes you need to have that happen to see how guys are going to bounce back. And Max did a really good job bouncing back, and threw a couple good balls for us down the stretch. But he had a great start for us on the first 2 drives, was moving the ball over the field, and he made some really nice reads in the run game and in the passing game last night. And, Max is only going to get better, and I'm excited about, the opportunity he's going to give us every game this year.
Right, indeed, no doubt. And how many times did you air it out last night, Brian?
I don't know the total numbers, but I know we were over 200 yards. So I'd say we were probably pretty close to 50-50 rush and pass.
Okay, nice mix there. And a couple of those running backs, they starred for you, busted loose for some nice sprints, didn't they? Tell us about Tyson Lobb and Jordan Spangenberg. Yeah,
Tyson and Jordan both had great games last night. Jordan's been pretty constant for us so far, but Tyson really had a breakout game for us. Really in all aspects of the game. He had 2 huge returns on kickoff return, and had a great game defensively, made some big stops. But his downhill running was it was a great sight to see last night. Tyson's a great kid, and he's been around the program for a long time. His dad was the head coach before me, and he's been a long-time assistant. So I've known Tyson since he's been about 6 years old. And last night he really welcomed himself to the party, and I was extremely happy to see that and extremely proud of him for it.
How close am I on the stats here? This is what I've seen somewhere there, Brian. But I had Tyson, or I've seen Tyson with 112 yards and 2 touchdowns, and Jordan 123 and a pair of TDs. Pretty close.
Yeah, that's pretty dead on. I know we had over 200 passing and 200 rushing, so you're right on there.
Who else got some carries? Anybody else out of that backfield?
No, Max got it a couple times on some read plays, and but no, most of the time, from here on out, Jordan and Tyson are going to do the majority of the workload out of the backfield.
Oh, that's quite a 1-2 punch back there for sure, and 3 with Max. So, who else would you like to highlight, either on offense or I know number one, I suppose, is that offensive line as a unit.
Yeah, the offensive line, they had a lot of improvement from week 1. We had 4 guys last week starting their first game on varsity offensive line. So, we're pretty inexperienced up front, but they improved a lot this week and did a great job. Shane Carricker's a 6'4", 235-pound kid that can flat out play for us. And, he's an impressive young man to watch on the football field. And, across the way, we just did a really good job. And, our receivers are pretty talented too. We had some nice plays last night. Alex Garcia, Camden Wimpy, and then of course Garrett Richter all made some pretty big plays for us out of the passing game as well. So, our offense last night, showed a glimpse of what we can do when we start hitting on all cylinders. And we had a couple turnovers in the second quarter that kind of slowed us down a little bit, but we came out hot out of the gate and got up 14-0 pretty quick. And then of course when we came back out from the Lightning, we were able to put up 2 touchdowns, just bam on them. And we've got some weapons, so, as long as our offensive line keeps getting better and everybody shows some improvement, I think we're going to have the ability to be a pretty good offense.
I'm glad you mentioned Shane there. What an athlete. He did a number in track and field last spring, didn't he?
Yeah, Shane, Shane broke our discus record as a sophomore, won the conference as a sophomore, so, Shane's a fun kid to be around. He's got a tremendous work ethic, and he's extremely smart. I think he's going to do great things, well beyond being just a football player and athlete at Central. He represents the student athlete well. He gets it done in the classroom and on the field, and you'd never know he was there. He doesn't say much about anything. He just, puts his head down and gets his work done. So, he's definitely a blessing to have in our program.
Well, you beat a very good team there in Salem. Of course, they doused the Centralia Orphans in shutout fashion in the Shrine game last week, so this was no easy task, especially over there.
Yeah, we knew that was a big-time win for them. We knew they'd be flying pretty high. It was the first time they'd been 1-0 since 2008. So we had a feeling that, it wasn't going to be a cakewalk by any means. And, we got out 14-0, and they forced 2 turnovers and scored a touchdown and got themselves right back in the game. And like I said, I'll be honest with you, when that lightning hit, the momentum was definitely on their side. They had some big plays, and they were moving the ball. So, we knew that it was going to be a tough one, and it was nice to see us go on the road, and get a conference win against a team that when they get things figured out, they're going to be tough to deal with.
And you went over there. First trip to Jim Fink's Field for you, right, Brian?
Yes, it was. And I tell you what, it was nice, man. They've got a nice Zoysia or Bermuda. I don't know which kind of grass it is, but it's a really nice field. And they had it painted up, really nice. And, it was a little different environment. But our guys like being there and stuff. And it's, they're a good addition to our conference. Yes,
indeed. Jim Fink's, what a man. And, what a run he had in the National Football League. So, and the opening game, this comes on the backs of that victory, of course, which was a 12-6 victory for you over Wood River. The Oilers a week ago Friday, and good defense there. But as I know, as we got you on the pregame show last night, you had around 400 yards offensively there too. So you were just a step away from some more scoring in that contest.
Yeah, it was kind of the same thing. We came out quick and then had a couple turnovers. So, that's the big thing we got to get corrected right now. We got to stop taking opportunities away from ourselves to score. But, it was, we played pretty well in week 1, especially for being week 1. And like I said, it was 4 guys in the offensive line that had not played a varsity game yet. And it was Max's first game as a starting quarterback. So, even only putting up 12 points, I was still impressed with the way we moved the ball and the way we did things. So, it would have been nice to win by a little bit more. And, it's the 3rd year in a row. In week 1, we've had a 1-possession game. It's pretty nerve-wracking. But fortunately for us, we've come out 3-0 in all those games. So, sometimes we make it a little harder on ourselves than it has to be. It, gives old coach a heart attack. But it makes it interesting, that's for sure.
Yeah, hey, this ain't golf, right? That other team has something to say about it. So you got
absolutely.
And you're now 2 up and none down on the year overall, 1-0 in the Cahokia Conference. While we have a chance, let's find out a little bit more about this club. Of course, you've got a good set of seniors, but you lost a couple capable players, more than that from 2017.
Yeah, losing Trent was huge. Trent Nunn was our quarterback last year. He's kind of our do-it-all guy. And, we lost some leaders. We lost, Tyler Malone was a 3-year starter for us at linebacker. And, we had some good seniors last year that put a lot of good time in. Matt Walters was another one that was a big-time player for us. But, our guys have responded really well. The guys have had to step up into those roles, and I really love the camaraderie of our team. These guys are pretty tight-knit, and it's really a fun group to be around. And, they get after each other in practice, and it's kind of a brotherhood that we try to develop. We preach and talk about Central Football family all the time, and these guys are really expressing that, and they're really a great display of what we're trying to do in our program right now.
Incidentally, before we carry it further for this year's group, you continue to send players to the college scene, don't you?
Sorry, say that again?
You continue to send players to the colleges for some more gridiron action.
Yeah. I was today. IC plays at Rhodes College, and we've got several guys at Illinois College, and my former coach is the head coach at Rhodes, so I was hoping to make it down there to that game. But no, we've got several guys at IC. Trent Nunn's at St. Ambrose. Bennett Richter's at McKendree. So yeah, and then this is the first time in a while, but we've got 7 or 8 guys playing college ball, so that's always an honor when guys leave your program and go on to the next level. And it's a thing that I talk about, and you just when you can go on and play, man, it's such a great game. I never could understand why anybody wouldn't want to go play college football, just because I was never ready to be done playing. So
exactly.
To see guys have the same passion for the game and move on, it's it's a blessing and an honor to be a part of that, and to see those guys being successful at the next level. it's a pretty good feeling for anybody in part of our program.
Illinois Central's been a real good destination. So, but you have a lot of players in your on your current roster above 60, and just a bunch of freshmen, huh?
Yeah, we've got I think we're at 65 on the total roster, and we got 22 freshmen. So, we've been fortunate enough through these tough times. A lot of kids are not wanting to play football. We've been fortunate enough at Central to kind of keep it rolling and keep the numbers going. And I hope that keeps going that way. And I just hope that the young men at Central are excited about being a part of football family. And that's it's been working well for us here lately. And I'm excited about our future.
Have a decent number of returning starters. I understand you have a new player or two even that have come over from the soccer, from the pitch.
Yeah, we've got two kickers right now, Colin Beatty and Zach Landis. Zach's a freshman, and he made 4 out of 5 extra points for us last night, and the only one he missed was a bad hold. And then Colin kicked off for us the whole time, Colin Beatty. So, yeah, I mean, anytime you can get some more guys that want to be a part of it, I gave a big shout-out to them last night. They've got a full-time season with soccer, and their nights off are Fridays, and, they've been spending that time with us. So, we've had that going for a couple of years now, and that's a great thing, too, and it says a lot about, just the, kind of the coaching tree there at Central and the camaraderie we have as well. Coach Patterson's basically giving me 2 of his starters and trusting that he's not going to lose them because they're playing football. So, I think that says a lot about the overall, just the way we do things at Central. I'm really impressed with Coach because I'll be honest with you, if the tables were flipped, I don't know what I would do if I was letting football players go play soccer all the time. But I'm really appreciative of that, and it's been a tradition going on for a couple of years now, and I hope it keeps going because it just makes us better. Having soccer kids that can come over and just make field goals and do things with the football that some of our guys can't. It's a big deal for our program.
You get deeper into the conference next season when you collide with Freeburg. That's a good ball club. They win again last night, and the Cahokia is going to be nails once again, won't it?
Yeah, it's going to be tough. And Freeburg's 2-0, and they're coming to our place. But I'm excited about the opportunity. It's our first game with our new facility. We've got new bleachers, new press box, and new lights, and we got irrigation on our field now and things. So I'm excited, and I really hope the people come out and pack the new bleachers and just give us a good atmosphere. Freeburg always plays us really, really well, and I'm not expecting anything less from them. And they're 2-0 for the first time in a while too, so they're going to be ready to play. That's for sure.
Yeah, Columbia also won in the conference. They doused Waterloo in non-league affair, actually 48-20. But they are awfully good again with the Horner boys. And then of course we know about Westland fell last night, but Redbud won. It's going to be a real battle in that league. So let's see, how many years are we up to now, Brian, as the head coach?
This is my 12th year, my 13th year at Central and 12th year as head coach. So it goes fast, Rip, that's for sure.
Oh, everything goes way too fast. It's September already, Brian, and that coaching staff is the assistants, most of them back.
Yeah,
definitely got a good crew.
Yeah, everybody's the same coming back. We've had this same group now for, I think this is the 4th year we've had the same group, but John Howard and Chris Luth have been with me for all 12 years, and then Andy's been up, and Coach Laub's been up there with us for close to 10. And then Coach O'Rear, who you always ask me about, he's been with us. This is his 4th year now. And
he's
then,
trouble.
Jake Benoff is a volunteer guy that's been with us for about 4 years now too. So it's always good to have guys that have the same passion for the game you do and that want to work as hard as you do. And that's what I've got. I'm very fortunate to have the group of guys that I have. It's a big sacrifice. You take a lot of time away from your family to spend it with other people's kids, and they're willing to do that every day, and that's a huge benefit for me. That's for sure.
All right, Brian, very good. Another good victory for your club, and get prepped for week number 3.
Now, thanks a lot, Rip. It's always an honor to be on your show, buddy. I appreciate it.
We'll be back at you. Brian Sharp, the head coach of the Central Football Cougars. Stay tuned. Trivia is just around that proverbial corner.
Get mouth-watering flavor at a jaw-dropping price at Your Breeze and Carlisle Hardee's. Charbroiled sliders are starting at just $1.25. Get them as a single or get them as a double. And get as many as you want. Plus, enjoy the entire Red Burrito menu. And tomorrow morning, try the new made-from-scratch honey butter biscuits. Get unhungry now at Your Breeze and Carlisle Hardee's.
If you're an athlete, coach, official, or fan, you need Lee Sports in Nashville. Lee Sports has it all for teams and individuals. From uniforms, shoes and equipment, to coaches apparel and officials gear. And Lee Sports carries name brands like Under Armour, Mizuno, Rawlings, and Adidas. Lee Sports also stocks a complete line of spirit wear and offers screen printing and custom embroidery, plus trophies, awards, and personalized items. Lee Sports in Nashville, your complete sporting goods headquarters.
Hi, this is Jay Barker, National Championship quarterback for the Crimson Tide of Alabama. And you're listening to Max 96.7.
Seaver Brothers has what you're looking for. Take a spin with Seaver Brothers and drive home in your new or pre-owned Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, or Dodge truck today. Let Seaver Brothers give you the car buying experience that no other dealership can offer. Seaver Brothers stands behind their products and also has an outstanding service department with qualified technicians to keep your vehicles running strong. Stop by Seaver Brothers, 811 Washington Street in Carlisle, or call 594-2624 for your next Seaver Brothers sales associate.
If you're in the market for a new home, refinance, or even a second home, give me a call today. I'm Anne-Marie Tabin at First Bank in Breeze. With almost 20 years of experience, I can guide you through the process of finding a mortgage product from First Bank that is right for you. Give me, Anne-Marie Tabin, a call today, 526-7724. First Bank in Breeze, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
I'd like to start a campaign to blow the buttons off people's radios. Is that realistic?
This is Max 96.7.
Welcome back once again, everybody. Rip here in the Wigman Ford studio on this Saturday, where the time is 9:32. That time drop is brought to you by Zirin Funeral Home in Carlisle. Zirin Funeral Home, we've got a few new sponsors. Welcome to the show. Welcome to our list of shows. Pretty soon, beginning the 10th, it's Monday nights along with Wednesday nights and Saturday mornings. How about some trivia?
It's time for the Easy In Travel Trivia Quiz on Talkin Sports. Escape to paradise with Easy In Travel in Breeze. Call 526-2201.
Thank you, Mel. Here we are. Our number is 594-2576, 594-2576. Every one of you is eligible to play unless you or someone in your household has won the last 8 weeks. Number 2, you can't be affiliated with or related to anyone here at Max 96.7 or Easy In Travel. And today, it's a pretty grand prize. How about 2 field box seats for the Cardinals-Dodgers game at Busch on Thursday, September 13th. It's due to have that first pitch thrown at around 6:15. Yeah, each of these tickets sells for $138 American. I'm holding them in my partially scuffed up hands right now. This is a nice set. You will if you win. If you win, you need to pick up the prize next week, because after that, we're going to re-gift this. We're not going to let these set idle. Nothing ever does. It's a rarity, but we're not going to let these go to waste for sure. Here is the question at 594-2576. Which Cardinals player has the top career stolen base percentage in team history? Lou Brock, Andy Van Slyke, or Vince Coleman? Which Cards player leads the club in all-time steals percentage? This is from 1951, just to be all in. Lou Brock, Andy Van Slyke, or Vince Coleman? Give us a holler at 594-2576.
Hey, it's Bill on the road from Mornings with Scott and Casey. You hear me talking each week about travel, and one of my favorite things about driving across America is finding great food. And lucky for you, Mama's on the Hill in St. Louis is a super easy road trip destination. Authentic Italian favorites like baked lasagna, spaghetti, and tortellini, thin crust St. Louis-style pizza, and yes, Mama's on the Hill is the birthplace of toasted ravioli. Check out their menu online at mamasonthehill.com. Mama's on the Hill, on the Hill in St. Louis.
If you're an athlete, coach, official, or fan, you need Lee Sports in Nashville. Lee Sports has it all for teams and individuals. From uniforms, shoes and equipment, to coaches apparel and officials gear. And Lee Sports carries name brands like Under Armour, Mizuno, Rawlings, and Adidas. Lee Sports also stocks a complete line of spirit wear and offers screen printing and custom embroidery, plus trophies, awards, and personalized items. Lee Sports in Nashville, your complete sporting goods headquarters.
This broadcast is a presentation of Wcxo Sports. Wcxo Sports is brought to you by the Benoff Insurance Agency in Breeze and Trenton, HSHS St. Joseph Hospital, Breeze, Breeze Dental Care, K&J Chevrolet, Reverman Chiropractic and Spinal Rehabilitation and Breeze Motor Sales, Southern Bus and Mobility, Kaskaskia College, the First National Bank of Carlisle, Reekman Brothers John Deere, Southern OBGYN Associates, Med Plus Physical Medicine and Brett's Wildlife Lodge, State Farm Insurance Agent Steve Klosterman, Central Illinois Truck Service, Breeze Family Vision, Tempo Bank, Country Financial representatives Keith Wilkin and Teresa Richards, and by the Carlisle and Breeze Hardys. WCXO Sports, powered by the Union Banner at Union Banner on Facebook. Your sports teams, your community, your radio station.
Flying in the face of conventional wisdom.
There's no rules and no laws and lots of litter.
Every day.
This is Max 96.7.
Hey, Rip here in the Weedman Ford studio. We have a winner. Thanks. Oh, we have a lot of calls. They just missed. Are you kidding me? An 8-hour funeral for Aretha? And then we've got this long sideshow going on another. Anyway, we have a winner. His name is Brendan Campworth from Glen Carbon, Illinois. He wins 2 field box seats for the Cards LA Dodgers game Thursday, September 13th. They're down to first baseline. It's you're going to treasure these babies. The question and the answer as follows: which Redbirds player has the best career stolen base percentage throughout the club's history? Was it Lou, Slick, or Vince? It is Vince Coleman. That fleet-footed center fielder was successful in 82.68% of his base-stealing attempts. Ozzie is second on that theft list at nearly 81%. Pick your spots, man. Slick is at an even 80. Andy Van Slyke, you're just a ball player, man. Here's a surprise. Delino DeShields is around 77. And Lou, he dusted off just shy of a 76% rate. He also pilfered 888 in his career. Congratulations to Brendan Campworth out of Glen Carbon as we stretch Talkin' Sports style through our regular airwaves and through the YouTube, it's all good. WCXO967.com. Anyway, Brendan is the victor. Let's take another break. And due up after that, it's baseball's Rob Raines. Need insurance? Insurance you can really count on? If so, turn to Dan Imming at Imming Insurance Agency in Carlisle. Dan and his staff will provide you with the insurance coverage and service you deserve. Whether it's auto, home, life, health, or commercial, your choices aren't limited either. Imming Insurance Agency represents many outstanding companies, so get covered by the best. Call Imming Insurance Agency at 594-4536 or stop by 589 9th Street in Carlisle. Imming Insurance Agency, a proud supporter of Clinton County sports.
Southern Bus and Mobility is your Bronability dealer in Breeze. Southern Bus and Mobility stocks the most popular wheelchair-accessible vans from Bronability, including lowered-floor minivans with side or rear entry ramps. In addition to personal wheelchair vans, Southern Bus and Mobility has a huge line of commercial buses, school buses, and mobility products to buy or rent. They also sell and can install wheelchair scooter lifts, hand controls, and special turning seats. Call 526-4131. Stop by east of Breeze on Old Route 50 or southernbusandmobility.com.
Nordyke Funeral Home is thinking about your future and offers secure, pre-planned funeral arrangements, relieving the emotional burden for those you love, allowing you to express your own wishes, and assures peace of mind with financial concerns when your family needs it the most. Nordyke Funeral Home has 5 locations in Albers, Aveston, Breeze, New Baden, and now Carlisle. Visit NordykeFuneralHome.com or call 588-3533. Striving to earn your family's confidence and trust, Nordyke Funeral Home with 5 locations.
Moving forward requires taking that first step. And when it comes to your future, your first step should be Kaskaskia College. With more than 50 degrees and 100 certificate programs, Kaskaskia College can prepare you for a great career, your next promotion, or set you on your educational path. Life is too short to wait. Take your first step to success with Kaskaskia College. Learn more today. Call 545-3040 or kaskaskia.edu.
Scientists say the universe is random. Why should your radio station be any different?
You've got Max 96.7.
Welcome back for one more loop, everybody. We're up here in the Whitney Ford studio on this Saturday morning. You've heard from Brian Sharp. We've handed out a nifty little trivia prize, and now we go to the H&H Computer Services guest line for St. Louis and baseball scribe Rob Raines. Rob, welcome back to Talkin' Sports.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
It's another victory for the St. Louis Cardinals. A couple of hiccups last night.
Getting kind of boring, isn't it?
You know, it almost. Well, that game last night actually did. I like those tight contests, but they beat the Redlegs 12-5 in the end, and I don't know. That's 8 of 10, 18 of 22?
Yep, 22-6 in the month, which is the best month they've ever had since July of 1968 when they went 24-6, and we know how good that team was. So it's just been an incredible month. They haven't lost 2 games in a row since July 22nd, 23rd. And I think 4 of the 6 losses in August were by 1 run. One was by 2 runs. They only got blown out really that one game in Colorado, which was a tight 1-0 game going to like the 8th inning, I think it was. So, yeah, it's just been an unbelievable month. 12 wins by rookie pitchers, which is a big part of it. Gomber goes 5-0, Flaherty 4-0. So it's they're all trend. If you talk about trends, I mean they're definitely trending in the right direction.
And after that, Rockies lost, which the 1 inning but the next day they bounced right back and they blasted the Rockies. So Gomber last night had some struggles in the first inning, but he really settled down after that and got that victory, one that he deserved again. Went 7 this time.
Yeah, he's pitched really well too. I mean, the thing about these kids, the thing about all these kids is, and I know I've always been a prospect guy and have hyped all these kids for a long time, but they're actually doing what you kind of hope they do when they get up here, and they're all fighting for jobs. I mean, there's no real guarantee that Gomber is going to be a starting pitcher going forward. I mean, they like him a lot. He's a left-hander, which helps, but he was good in the bullpen too. And how well these guys. I just did a story today about some of these guys, how well they pitch in September is going to have an awful lot to do, well, not just pitch but play too, with their Cardinals thinking of what they're going to do over the off season. So I mean they're playing for playoff spots and postseason berths and stuff this month, but they're also playing for the future. I mean, because they've got a lot of players here they're going to have to make some decisions on, and it's going to make for an interesting month, I think, and an interesting off season too.
You bet, and they are of course in the absolute heart of the playoff race. They're in contention for the division, obviously. Just 3.5 steps behind the Cubbies, who lost last night. The Bruker right there, too. And then those 2 teams are at the top of the wild cards standings. So, and now, in fact, it'd be quite a disappointment if they didn't gain a spot.
Oh, yeah, it would be. Yeah, definitely. You've got yourself set up now that it would be a disappointment because they played so well in the last, 6 weeks that, nobody really saw it coming. But now that you get in it, get there and it's basically yours to lose now as far as at least the wild card spot. And realistically, you do have a shot at the division. I mean, you're 3.5 games behind the Cubs with 29 games to go, whatever it is, 26 games. I don't remember exactly what the
right around there. Yeah.
Race to break down right now is for both the Cubs and the Cardinals. But you end the season with 3 games at Wrigley, and it could come down to that series, which is kind of amazing to believe. But it would be really a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's really not a very big spread at all, and the Cubbies are on a tough trip stretch right now. And of course, all of this, Rob, it's entirely because of the new manager, Mike Schilt, right? All of it.
Well, I mean, there's no question they changed the culture of the team. I mean,
I know.
There's, but there are a lot of things kind of coincided at the same time. I mean, obviously Carpenter got hot. Fowler got hurt, so he couldn't play.
Yes.
Then Bader took over in center field. And then all the kid pitchers came up and did well. So I mean, there were a lot of there's no. I'm the big Mike Schilt backer, so I'm not going to say that he didn't have a lot to do with it, but I do think that he was the benefit of a lot of things kind of working out in his favor and in the Cardinals' favor all at the same time.
Yeah, it's somewhat about timing too. But I think the biggest moves were done by that front office, Mo and. Well, I'm not sure about Gersh, but the trade of Cocky Tommy to Tampa Bay, and the bullpen redo, and then Fowler got hurt. All those
things definitely were a factor.
Because Schilt was playing Pham and Fowler, as far as I was concerned, too much, and now those options were taken away from him.
Well, and I think that was kind of by design when they took over. I mean, I think you sat down and looked and said, okay, what do we think we can do? And at that point, Fowler was still a guy that they wanted to see him come through. I mean, obviously was a big off-season acquisition a couple of years ago, paying them a lot of money. Supposed to be a key player on this team, and maybe he didn't get enough chance to play regularly to come out of a slump. So that's always a tough thing with a veteran player when he's slumping, because he says he needs to play to get his timing right, and in reality, and I'm not talking Fowler specifically, I'm talking generically. Yes. But then if the team is struggling too, it's hard to play a guy that's struggling. You had three guys, Carpenter, Fowler, and Watt, all of whom were terrible the first 6 weeks of the season, and then you had the whole bullpen class. I don't know what people expected out of Mike Matheny really when things were going that poorly, and he paid the price because that's what happens. That's what happens in baseball with a team underperforms. But luckily they haven't had that problem here the last 6 weeks.
And actually, over his first 4 years, he's got the best winning percentage. You throw in TLR, Whitey, whatever, right? Even Red, and they did go to the World Series one year. I know they've had little struggles as of late, but overall, I mean, he did a pretty good job.
Yeah, I think the main thing was, and again, I don't know how much of it all was his fault, but the whole bullpen situation, the management of the bullpen, and using the same guys every night and stuff. I mean, most of the criticism I've heard directed toward him, as especially since he's been removed as a manager, was that was just the lack of ability to handle the bullpen, and you just wish maybe even with a guy like Mike Maddox coming in, I really thought would have a little better say. So when some of the moves that pitching moves that were made during a game, it just didn't seem to happen. It just seemed to be the same thing over and over again.
But as far as Schilt goes, and don't get me wrong, I like him and all that, and I still think they pulled the trigger too soon. He wasn't going anywhere. Stubby Clapp is the target, but I'm happy for him. I'm really happy for Brian Everscore because that's job security for him. Had they went outside the organization, who knows?
Yeah, they weren't going to do that. I mean, this thing wasn't 38 games in the making. A lot of national people I know got bent out of shape about it because they said, oh, they did too quick. Well, no, they didn't. I mean, Mo has known Mike Schilt for 14 years, and I mean, you've seen him manage for 8 years in the minor leagues, seen him up here at the big leagues for a year and a half. I mean, this is not, they couldn't just name him the manager right out, and even though they probably wanted to on July 14th, but at 15th, but I think that they, didn't take more than a month to realize that he was more than capable of this job. The job was not too big for him. The stage wasn't too big for him. He's very calm and cool and collected. His in-game decisions are fine. His relationship with the players are terrific. So there's no reason not to just remove that interim tag and have it over with and settled and end all the, worry and speculation by, mostly outside everybody in the organization. Nobody in the organization was worried about it because they knew what was going to happen.
All right, I lean with the Nationals. Actually, we'll see, and they only gave him the 2 years too. But no, I want him to win for the Cardinals. So let's hope this works out. And the pitching though, that young pitching, my goodness. Even though I like to see some of these guys go deeper, Jack Flaherty. Start with Jack, Rob. Start with Jack Flaherty, number one.
Well, he's terrific. Oh. I mean, he's a 22-year-old kid that's going to only get better. I mean, he's just a I've known Jack a couple of years now, and he is really, really a good kid and really a good pitcher. And I think they got lucky when they drafted him. I mean, you got to say, the draft. Anytime you get a kid like that in the draft at the 34 or 5 spot, whatever it was. And I know he was a high school kid, but still, it's just he's probably going to be the best starter the Cardinals have developed in their organization in a long, long time. Because you really kind of, I mean, Wainwright is probably the guy you look at, but even though he really wasn't he developed in the Cardinal system, but just from the AAA level on up, because he came from the Braves in the trade. So, Chris Carpenter was a guy they got already was a big leaguer, but I mean, he reminds me of both of those guys. I mean, I think at a much younger age. So the future is only going to be, spectacular for him.
His ERA well below 3, and his record could be better than 8-6. Now he goes. They're skipping him. He's off tomorrow for Monday, right?
He's going to pitch Monday in Washington. Yeah.
Yeah, over at DC. And John Gant, I just think he's been an overlooked
guy. He's the guy that surprised me a lot.
Yeah. He's done well almost every time he's went out.
He's one of those guys you kind of look at him and go, how does he get people out? But I mean, that's. Because he doesn't have, he doesn't have a 98 mile an hour fastball. I mean, he walks, fair share of guys. I mean, it's just, but he's taking advantage of the opportunity. There's no question, and that's why I say he's probably one of those guys. I put a list together of 10 to watch. He probably would have been number 11 had I expanded the list, because he's just like, you kept thinking, okay, when Walker comes back, and if Wainwright comes back, if they move Ponce into the rotation, whose spots are you going to take? Well, I'll take Gant's spot. Well, looks like he's not giving up that spot.
He doesn't want to budge
anytime soon. The way he's pitched lately, no.
But you just never know over the long haul, do you? From Shelby Miller to Luke Weaver right now. I mean, this sometimes just doesn't carry over to the next year and the next year.
But that's what people always talk about, momentum in baseball, and there really is no such thing. I mean, I think it was Earl Weaver that said a long time ago, momentum is as good as your next day's starting pitcher. So I mean, it just doesn't. One day, what we saw, the series in Colorado, you was already referenced to. They get blown out in the last inning of the game, and then come out and score 6 runs in the first inning the next day. So, that's just the way the game is.
Wainwright and Wcxo. Well, what's the status of Wcxo?
Wainwright's going to pitch tonight for Memphis and Nashville. They're most worried about, stretching him out, and then potentially will, be a guy that I don't want to say he's going to go into the rotation, because I don't think that's going to be the case. But I think they're going to probably, what they'll end up doing the last month of the season here is just finding spots for a guy to pitch that's not a regular starter, and Wainwright would fall into that category, as does Ponce de Leon, as does Weaver, and maybe Wcxo if he comes back. So to give like they're doing with Weaver pitching tomorrow, so Flaherty gets an extra day of rest. So they've got a couple off days they can play with the schedule too. So I think that's what's going to happen. Is I think you'll see Wainwright get at least a couple of starts in September, but I don't think he'll really be a regular guy in the rotation. Wcxo, had a little bit of a setback in his last rehab start. He felt a little tightness in his side, kind of the same area where he got hurt earlier. He's going to throw, I think, today. We talked to him last night. I think he's throwing today just on the side and see how it feels, and then maybe a bullpen. I suspect he'll probably try to go back out and make another rehab start somewhere middle of next week. Problem you're getting run into with rehab starts is the minor league seasons are basically over. Yeah. This weekend, except for the postseason. Now they do have several teams playing. I think 4 teams playing in the playoffs, so there is still a couple of spots to go pitch. But they're getting to the point now where he's going to have to be activated basically, and just kind of continue to find spots to pitch up here after this week, I think.
Wcxo was charging out to a really good season too, but it seems like he always gets hurt. And quite honestly, I was counting on it this year at some point. I was hoping that wasn't going to be the case, but once more.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, and again, he's a guy with all these young pitchers coming up, as I mentioned, over the off season. Somebody's going to probably not be here.
You bet.
That has been here for a while, and that's he's one of the guys that and they need him to pitch well in September, so he can to see what they've got, and maybe also to see if there will be some interest in him from a trade standpoint, because he's an arbitration eligible guy that's going to make pretty good salary next year. They're going to have more candidates to be starting pitchers than they're going to have spots for. So it's going to really be interesting to see what kind of moves they decide to make.
An award-winning baseball author and writer is with us, Rob Raines from St. Louis. Wong and Jerko, they're progressing okay?
Yeah, I think so. Ozuna is supposed to be activated today, simply because of the fact that they can. He's eligible to come off the DL, and the rosters can expand. I would be surprised if he plays in the field for a couple, 3 more days. I think they still want to get that arm a little bit more rest, but I think he's going to be available at least to pinch hit. Mo said yesterday that Wong and Jerko they're pleased with their recovery. I saw Wong in the clubhouse. I didn't see Jerko, and Wong had just gotten back from hitting in the cage. So, I think he's, of the two, probably going to be the first one to come back. Obviously, he's going to be the first one eligible to come back anyway, too. But I don't think they'll be out more than just the 10 days, because, again, luckily with the September expanded rosters, you can bring them back even if they're not 100%, because they could at least pinch hit if nothing else. So they'll be back here at the end of this week, and I think that's the big reason why they probably didn't go out and have more of an interest. I know they talked about Donaldson. I know they kicked the tires on it, but there just wasn't a way to make that work. And I think they're also worried about taking playing time away from some of these guys that have been part of this resurgence a little bit, and how that would affect the morale and spirit in that clubhouse, because it's a really, really good group right now. They're feeling it, they're energized, and they can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel. I think they just didn't want to do anything, especially if it was only going to be a short-term fit, and try to mess that up.
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine without Josh Donaldson. Let him get hurt in Cleveland. Hey, Patrick Wisdom, he's a good player. We've got a bunch below. One of the guys I follow you on Twitter, of course, Nolan Gorman. Tell us about him. He's still with Peoria, huh? I haven't.
Yeah,
looked,
he's going to finish the season in Peoria.
All right.
He struggled a little bit from a contact standpoint. He's hitting just a little over 200, but it's the end of a long year for him, so I don't think they're worried about that. And he's held his own a bit from a power standpoint. He's got 18, I think it is 17 or 18 home runs now for the season at Short Series League, about 60 some odd games. So yeah, they're really excited about him. I mean, an 18-year-old kid, and play most next year at 19. He'll turn 19 in May. Really going to be interesting to watch how far they push him, how aggressive they are in promoting him. My guess would be they'll probably go back to Peoria to start the season, but won't end the year there. I mean, he'll end the year. Wouldn't surprise me at all if he ends the year in AA next year. He's that good. I've seen him play. I saw him play in Johnson City. I saw him play in Peoria. Really good kid, and just is. I think going to turn out to be, hopefully barring injuries and, progression that you hope you need to see from guys both, on offense and on defense to be, a guy that we're really going to look to the future as far as, we've been watching guys like, Flaherty and Hicks and Hudson and those guys for a while now on the pitching side. I think he's going to be, kind of change that narrative, and we're going to start watching him on the position players.
Right. Yeah, you've got a good read on him. It's an interesting follow through your Twitter. And back to the waiver pickups and so forth. Milwaukee, I mean, it can't hurt. Gio Gonzalez hasn't had exactly a spectacular season, but look at Cole Hamels. Who knows? They did get him and then Granderson. So as they make the rush for the postseason. But the Dodgers, David Freese goes to L.A. and Matson. Pretty interesting what a few of these teams have done in the last day or two.
Yeah, it's you always wonder about some of these deadline deals. So sometimes you get diamonds in the rough that come in here and really help you, and sometimes they don't. I mean, Milwaukee, I think, felt they just had to do something. I mean, people kept talking about them before the trading deadline in July. They needed a pitcher, they needed this and that, and they didn't do anything. So I think they kind of felt like they had to do something, even if it was wrong, just to do something to kind of make the fans say, okay, we did try here, So, and it means something for Milwaukee. I mean, we've talked about this before. I mean, teams are in different points of their, I don't know, career's not the right word, but I mean, different, where a team is at a certain point in time is different. Milwaukee getting to the playoffs is a big deal because it really energizes their fan base. It builds them for the future. And if they see that little window that maybe they didn't expect to have, they need to go for it. And they do have talent in their farm system that they can go to trade. The Cardinals usually are not in that position where, they're not going to go out and make an all-out move just to try to get a wild card spot. They're a little bit different spot now than they've been the last few years because they didn't make the playoffs the last 2 years. And I do feel like there's a lot of pressure on them. There was on Matheny. I think there is on not as maybe as much because of the changes, but to get back to the playoffs this year, even if it is just a wild card spot, I think that would help the fan base. It would help the mood around town. It would help their mood around the ball club. And it's they really feel like they need to do that. I mean, going 2 years without making the playoffs here is a really big deal.
You're exactly right with the Brew Crew, though, Rob. I still remember how deflated all their baseball fans got the year they had Sabathia, and boom, just like that, goodbye.
Yep, they tried to do that when they can, and that's and to their credit. I mean, I don't fault them for doing that. It's kind of like Pittsburgh made that deal for Archer, at the trade deadline. Everybody, they gave up a lot of players, and everybody thought, okay, well, they're making their run because they just had a 10 or 11 game winning streak or something, and they thought they were going for it, and then poof, it didn't work. So, but again, that was not just a 1 year deal, dude, because he didn't want to be back next year and have all the off season to get ready to come back and everything. So I think he's going to be a guy that Pittsburgh's going to be excited about, not just the rest of this season, but going forward.
Boy, he needs some tutoring, though. He's messed up somewhere as far as Rob Raines for a couple of more minutes. Did you have fun at the Cardinals Hall of Fame ceremony? I'm happy for Vince Coleman, Ray Langford, and also for Harry Brackeen's family. I think that's pretty neat about him gaining entrance.
Yeah, absolutely. Every time people go in there, it is it is kind of a cool story. I think it's something really neat that the Cardinal ownership group and Bill DeWitt and his family started here 5-6 years ago to start that Hall of Fame, because it really is a way to recognize and honor a lot of people that probably will fall short of Cooperstown, but do deserve to be recognized and honored for having great careers here in St. Louis.
Yeah, no, it's great. I was surprised it took so long to get that rolling. But it's who would you like to see real quick as far as from the veteran standpoint? One of my next on the list would be Bill White. How do you feel about him?
Well, I'm on the committee that makes that selection, and we've had very interesting discussions about Bill White the last few years, because basically he has told people that he doesn't want it. that he's
doesn't want it.
in enough he's in enough halls of fame or whatever. He doesn't like ceremonies like that. And if he gets inducted, he won't come, is what he basically said.
Wow.
So, basically he's removed himself from consideration because, obviously if you're going to have a ceremony like that, you want the guy to be there if he can, or representative of his family. So, I think the Veterans Committee is going to be an interesting thing going forward here because we're kind of, about tapped out, I think, of players from like the 40s and 50s that probably really deserve, unless I'm overlooking somebody off the top of my head, we get a list of candidates, every year that we consider as committee and stuff, and there are names on there, but there's nobody that I really get overly, thrilled about as far as, like saying this guy should definitely be in. I mean, there's guys who are good players, had nice careers, but you don't necessarily think of them as, Hall of Fame slam dunks. So it will trend younger, over time now we'll start getting into guys from the 60s, and I'm really going to sound like it was not that long ago in the 70s.
I'm with you.
Start becoming, the Veterans Committee picks instead of guys from the 40s.
Yeah, that's great though. But hey, Rob, appreciate your time or so. And again, you're on Twitter at
Rob Rains, ROBRAINS, and the website stlsportspage.com.
Thanks a bunch. Okay.
All right, anytime. Appreciate it.
Rob Rains from St. Louis. What a baseball person. Thanks to him and also to Brian Shart. Oh, yeah, our trivia winner this morning, Brendan Camper out of Glen Carbon. He collects a couple of really nice ducats to see a Cards-Dodgers game in just, 10-plus days or so. Congrats to those Little Leaguers from Hawaii, Honolulu. They won the Little League World Series a week ago as they nudged the South Koreans 3-0. Oh, one social note. Baseball's Trevor Richards and Anna Beckmeyer are engaged. There you go. We slip that in once in a while. Enjoy your Labor Day weekend, everybody. We'll catch you Wednesday between 6 and 7 on Talking Sports, Real Sports Talk on Max 96.7 WCXO.
Talkin' Sports on Max 96.7 was powered by Traditions Portrait Design in Carlisle. For photography, business, and professional service, it's Traditions. Talkin' Sports was brought to you by Farmers State Bank of Hoffman, Central City, and Hoyleton. Munkin Dodge Chrysler Jeep Nissan in Centralia. Kaskaskia College. The future's yours at Kaskaskia College. Emin Insurance Agency in Carlisle. Nordike Funeral Home with 5 locations to serve your needs. First Bank in Breeze. Lee's Sports in Nashville. McKendree University in Lebanon. Country Financial Representative Marvin Gerdes in New Baden. Seaver Brothers in Carlisle. And by Becker Jewelers with locations in Breeze and Highland and always online at beckerjewelers.com. Thank you for joining us for this WCXO sports presentation of Talkin' Sports on Max 96.7. This broadcast